Santrich suspended a 41-day hunger strike on May 19, 2 days after the SPJ demanded the prosecutor's office halt the extradition process until authorities can prove that his drug crimes took place after the signing of the deal. The Attorney General challenged the decision on May 22. Colombia's presidential elections on Sunday, the first since the end of the war, will be decisive for both Santrich and the peace process. The right-wing front-runner, Iván Duque, 41, is a fierce opponent of the agreement, which he says grants impunity to FARC criminals and has repeatedly pledged to extradite Santrich immediately on entering office. Duque is currently polling at 41.5%. His main rival, leftist Gustavo Petro, 58, who supports the deal and is himself a former guerrilla from the now-defunct M19, is on 24.6%. Petro says he would wait for the SPJ to determine when Santrich's drug crimes took place before extraditing him. He has asked them to communicate better with the FARC about the issue. Duque's more hostile stance is not uncommon. President Juan Manuel Santos pursued the deal despite 50.2% of voters rejecting an initial version of it in a referendum in October 2016. People are very polarized on the issue. Some think it was too soft on the FARC, says Miguel Silva, a political analyst at Pontifical Bolivarian University in Medellin. Santrich was directing the FARC's party and had been due to take up a seat in parliament. Santrich's case is the first test of the peace process, and his extradition would set a really bad precedent, says Silva. The deal is so recent that everyone is very wary. There's no trust. The FARC doesn't trust the state and the state doesn't trust the FARC. Many former guerrilla leaders are scared they will be arrested next. Iván Márquez, the FARC's second-in-command, says Santrich's arrest has left the peace process in its worst moment and at risk of being a real failure. He calls the case against Santrich a setup orchestrated by the U.S. and opponents of the peace process. The issue of how to deal with the FARC and the violence and drug trade they stimulated dominated Colombian politics for decades. Now, the war is over, homicide rates are down in most parts of the country, and for many voters the FARC and the peace process will take a backseat to more conventional electoral matters on Sunday. If there's a second round, Duque may harden his opposition to the peace process in order to gain more votes, says Silva. Or he might try to get moderate votes by dialing back his stance. It'll all depend on the electoral math. And when it comes to Sunday's vote, Santrich, watching from a secure compound in Bogotá, won't be the only one hoping for electoral math in his favor. So too will supporters of Colombia's peace process around the world.